So I just wanted to mention something that's very important. We currently work mainly with HTML5. That's the latest version of HTML, and it's got some really helpful functionality and uses that can help us not only with creating better websites, but also making it easier for us to interact with search engines to help us to appear higher ranked in the searches for people. So semantics basically can mean anything. So any tags that we use. So if we look at the iframes, all of these are just different semantics. We have the body here that says, okay, this is where all the content's going to be. The iframe, this is telling our browser that we want to have an iframe here. So the whole point of semantics is to tell the browser what we're making here, and it also helps to tell other developers what we're using. But in HTML5, what makes it even more helpful, if we look back here, we have all these different optional semantics. So for example, header, nav, section, footer. So those are a few that I'm going to use as examples. You don't need to have these in any of your scripts whatsoever. It's not required, but it's very helpful. So I'm just going to use nav as an example. So if we wanted to create our navigation bar, like we've been doing in the past. So what we've been doing so far is creating an unordered list, and then within these unordered lists, we're going to be creating these list items, and each of them contain some sort of link, right? So let's say we have 3 of these, and each one of these is, or instead of home, we're using index.html, about.html, let's say, and then contact.html. So with HTML5, all we can do, this isn't a requirement at all, this is completely optional, is we can add in this nav tag. Put that on either side, like this. And just to make it look a bit better, I'm just going to indent this. And so here, we now know exactly where the navigation bar is, but also search engines can work out where they are. And for navigation bars, okay, it's not all that important, but let's say as well, if we look back at here, we have footers as well. So it might be helpful for a browser to know where our footer is. So our footer might be, we might want to have some stuff like paragraph saying, I don't know, copyright John Harper 2019, email j@j.j, or something like this, right? So this is our footer. We might have our social media icons and stuff like that. All we do is literally just include this in a footer. So it just makes it easier for the browser to know where this stuff is, and it helps with search engine optimization, and it also helps, especially when you start creating larger scripts with many more lines of code, it makes it a lot easier for other developers to see what you're doing. So it's best practice to try and include this where you can. So whenever you're creating new scripts in the future, just keep this in mind. It's a good idea to try and start including the semantics, for example, using nav, footer, and header. That would be a good place to start. So go back to one of your old scripts and see if you can just add those in to make your script look a bit nicer. And when you've done that, I'll see you in the next lecture.